Okay, we'll start with the peace chant. Here. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitam Astu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, may the all-pervading spirit protect us. May the all-pervading spirit nourish us. May we work together with great energy. May our study be illuminating. May love and harmony dwell amongst us. Om, peace, peace, peace be unto us. Now, Katha Upanishad, at the heart of the Katha Upanishad we are, and Yama is now giving different pointers to that higher dimension. Let's call it our higher I, right? The transcendental dimension, ātmā, our spiritual self, our real self, all of it we can replace with, let's say, our higher I, okay? The higher self. So the Upanishad, the higher self, again, we have to remember, the higher self is beyond description. Beyond description. Any word cannot actually describe it. So what we find in the Upanishads are some pointers to that reality. Pointers to the reality. In fact, we know that most of the complex things are things which matter to us, which are close to our heart, are difficult to express to others, right? For example, I am in love with nature. Now, how can I express it? I can use a lot of words, but still it will fall far short in describing what it means to be in love with nature, or for that matter, with love with anyone. So our deepest emotions are also, in a way, cannot be expressed through words. Similarly, our true nature, according to the Upanishads, our truest nature, the vast one, cannot be expressed through words or concepts. It is beyond words and beyond concepts. But we have a mind which cannot think without concepts, cannot think without words. So we have to utilize whatever instrument we are given, we are having. So for the sake of our own understanding, so that mind can at least have some concept of what it is seeking, what it should be knocking for, Upanishads speak about our higher self with different ideas. And we have been seeing some of the ideas here. One was eternal. That is, this transcendental self is not born out of something, and it does not die as other things die. It is ever present. And this higher self is a state of being. The higher dimension of ours itself cannot do anything. To do anything, we need to have this relative identity, the empirical identity, that I am such and such person, I have to do with these instruments, I have to do. But from that transcendental perspective, no doing is possible from that space, okay, that we have seen. Then it is subtle. Subtle than the subtle means it is non-material. It is not material. Senses cannot perceive it, so it is subtle, even than the subtlest one. In that sense, it is subtle. But at the same time, it is vast than the vaster. It is vaster than the vast. That is, it is having no limitation caused by space or anything. And importantly, it is hidden within, as it were. That is, we have to find it within. We don't have to go anywhere else to find it. It is here. It is very near and dear to us, and that makes it problematic to find out, because it is the subject. It is the innermost subject, so it is difficult to objectify. So Upanishad said, it is nihitam guhayam. It is, as it were, is lodged in the cave of the heart. Although it is so near to us, but it is, as it were, locked out of us, because it is a subject. And we usually are accustomed to only knowing objects. Even our emotions, even our thoughts, our feelings, we know as our objects. But here is the subject per se. So it is difficult to know the way we know other things. That is why it is so within, at the same time, it is so difficult to grasp. Just like the other day, I went to San Francisco, and while returning, I chose to drive. I decided to drive at night. So I was looking for my driver's license, which I knew I kept in the glove box. But I could not find it, the driver's license. I was searching all my car, why I kept it in the glove box, because I was wearing my Gerua robes. I went to San Francisco temple to do puja. So I was not trying to carry anything in my pockets or anything. So I kept everything in the glove box. And I could not find it. Then ultimately I found it in my inner pocket, the pocket, in my shirt, this orange robe shirts, I have an inner pocket. Because when we make it in India, there is a tradition or custom. They make an inner pocket so that you can keep something very valuable here. And that is where I kept the driver's license. And I was looking for everywhere, and Swami Vedananda was helping me. And suddenly I exclaimed, classic Vedanta here. And he said, what happened? I said, the license is with me. And not only that, in my pocket, which is closest to my heart, and I am now searching it everywhere. Similarly, the Upanishad also speaks about that our true nature, it is known in every. Upanishad says that it is present in every experience, but we are unable to know it the way we know other things. And one final thing we studied in our last class, that it is non-local. So consciousness, the vastness of our higher self, is not localized. It is everywhere. That is why even if I am sitting here, my higher consciousness is not bound by this. It is with here, but it is not bound. Okay, it is everywhere. So it is non-local nature of consciousness. Similarly, today we shall see a few other pointers to our higher self, and also, more importantly, how to access this higher self. What are the practices? What are the lifestyle? What are the behaviors that will enable us to go closer to this higher self? Go closer to the higher self. Okay, let's start. Verse 22. Aśarīram śarīreṣu an-avasthiteṣu avasthitam mahāntam vibhum ātmānam matvā dhīraḥ na śocati. The self is bodiless, yet abides in bodies that are impermanent and unstable. Recognizing the self as vast and all-pervading, the wise person does not grieve. So, it is bodiless among the bodies. Interesting. So, bodiless means that it is not made of matter. It is not made up of matter. So, that is bodiless. Aśarīram. Our higher nature is not a material something having a space, having some dimension and weight and mass. No, that's why it is called bodiless. But it is also in bodies. That is, what does it mean? It is bodiless, but it is present in the bodies. That is, in every of our embodied experience. We are embodied beings, right? We have a body, but in every embodied experience, it is present. So, it being bodiless, present in the bodies, in that sense. But we should not again conclude that it is something tied and within our body alone. Okay, so it is something which is present everywhere, present also in my body, and I am accessing it through my body-mind complex. Okay, so one example will be, analogy will help us to understand this matter better. Imagine a pillow. A pillow is floating in a river. Okay, a pillow floating in a river. So the water outside also, but inside the pillow too. Okay, and this water we cannot, for the time being, it is associated with the pillow, but this water is not absolutely, we may say that, tied to the pillow. Okay, kind of give us some example. Okay, so this our higher nature, the vast consciousness, is outside everywhere, so also accessible inside, from inside through our body-mind complex. So this being a non-material, Atma is non-material, but it is present in the embodied experiences. So the Upanishad says that it is bodiless but present in the bodies. Okay. Then an-avasthiteṣu avasthitam. An-avasthiteṣu means things which are impermanent, changes. In all the changes, it remains the unchanged one. Okay. So we know our mind changes. Of course, we know our body changes, our mind changes, our mood changes, our feelings changes, our ideology changes, all of these changes. But amidst all of this, the screen, as it were, which holds all of these changes, that is our higher nature, which does not change. So it does not become anything else. It does not change into something. It remains as it is, whereas our mind, our thoughts, our feelings, our body, all of it are changing. So paradoxically, it is bodiless, but in the bodies, and uh, it is the only permanent thing among the all changing things on the world. And the next, mahāntam vibhum ātmānam matvā dhīraḥ śocati. So mahāntam vibhum. So to negate the idea or to clarify the idea that although it in the first line it said it is the bodiless present in the body. So lest we think that it is present only in the body, it is something deep within the body only, and that is its contour, or that is its entire existence. To negate that idea, the next line says mahāntam, vibhum. Mahāntam means the vast. Vibhum means everywhere. Okay. So in this verse, so many ideas to think about. It is bodiless, but in the bodies. Among all the changing things, it is the unchanged thing. Okay. And it is vast and it is everywhere. Having realized, having realized such a dimension of our personality, what happens? Dhīraḥ, the wise, now śocati, they no longer grieve for anything. They do not grieve for anything. What does it mean? Does it mean that they don't feel any pain after that, or they do not have any suffering? The thing is this, they they get a new perspective about the grief and the pain. Okay, grief, pain. You may think about this, that their container, their container becomes larger. So now they can hold many more things more comfortably, more comfortably. That is, this is the result of expansion of views, expansion of the sense of identity. So even if there is a painful thing, there is something to grieve for, they are not overwhelmed by them. They know this is a problem of this domain. It does not mean that I am gone. For all of us, suddenly if something very painful something happen, or a tragic accident happens, the first thing that strikes our mind, and which can uh, hold our mind for a long time, is that I am gone, right? Means my whole existence is gone now, is whole existence in stake for some unfortunate accidents or problems. But for a wise person, what happens is they know that this is a pain, this is a suffering, which is part of life, and this belongs to my mind, this belongs to my body, this belongs to my relationship. This is because of I am an embodied being. I have relationship. I have connections with the world. I have a job. I have a house to maintain, and all of these also invite problems. It is part of the game. So they are not as such so much bothered about. They don't think that all the essentials are gone. They feel, even in such um, problematic times, they think or they feel that um, nothing essential is lost. Nothing essential is lost. I can give an example like this. Once I was traveling in India from Calcutta to Varanasi. And Varanasi is my favorite, city, definitely. And I used to visit every year for 6, 7 years. I used to go every year to Varanasi. And in a local train, I was going, and my only bag that I have was stolen. So I woke up and found that everything is gone. You know, everything was in the bag. But in the next moment, the thought came that, has it taken anything essential? Nothing essential is lost. All of these came. So I exist, so all of these came later on. Okay, so it is nothing, nothing. All of this again can be had. So nothing essential I have lost. But the thing is, for many people, losing the whole luggage can be disastrous. For it may take a long time to get recovery from the shock. you know um, so I even made fun of it. I texted the Swami of Varanasi, that in at that time I was a fan of Robert Langdon. Dan Brown series, Robert Langdon is the professor who always wakes up in some city, and when he wakes up, he lands into troubles. So I texted the Swami. Robert Langdon wakes up in Goya. Goya was the place where I lost my thing. Robert Langdon wakes up in Goya and finds his everything is missing. And the Swami understood, and he says, "You are welcome. Everything will be given." So he gave me, he arranged for my toothpaste, toothbrush, things, and so it was fine. Everything was fine. The point is, it is not like that. Sometimes pain is very, very hard ones, not like a luggage one, but it gives an idea that as a luggage loss did not appear to me that I have lost my essentials, everything, like I am gone. So also to a wise person, even the strongest of the griefs, they grieve, but at the same time, it does not hold them under its captivity for long, for long. Okay. Um, I told earlier too, they speak about Dalai Lama, right? Dalai Lama, someone is interviewing Dalai Lama, and one person brought a news that a very near devotee of, a known devotee of Dalai Lama has suddenly died from an accident. So Dalai Lama immediately broke into, tears. And this interviewer from America, he was thinking, can a person feel so much about others' pain as if Dalai Lama had the accident? But within a few seconds, someone cracked a joke and Dalai Lama broke into laughter. So this person understood that Dalai Lama could feel any emotions much stronger than rest of us. At the same time, he can easily move from one emotion to another because the emotion has lost the stickiness. So this is the idea Upanishad is speaking about, that what is the advantage? Why should I aspire for to know, to realize my higher nature? One thing is this, that when problems happen, and problems will happen, nobody is immune from problems at different levels. When problems happen, that for others, they will, like a boat, the boat example we gave, right? Like a boat, a small boat in a tempest, uh, it almost appears to topple and go upside down or capsize. But a big boat is also, you know, uh, it shakes for a while, but again it gets back its balance. That is what happens to a wise person who has realized their vast nature. As a result, they have become vast, so the problems have become now smaller. Problems are put into perspective. They no longer appear to be so big that one will feel that my essence is gone. Okay, so this is what happens to such a person. Any question about this verse?
Well, it's not a question, but a comment. Same thing happened to me in the
Huh,
train.
huh,
Somebody stole the bag containing all my original certificates when I was going from Mumbai to Hyderabad. I had to
yes,
go for visa the next day. And they just stole the bag, was in a plastic bubble wrap, and they thought it was very valuable. They stole the bag. When I found out the next day when I reached home, I just collapsed in an armchair. I said, there goes my
everything.
dream of going to US.
Yeah,
Because without certificate, there is no way I can get a visa. But my brother was the one who saved me. He
Yes.
ran around, got duplicates, and I could get the visa.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. So this verse is well understood then, right? We can move on to the next one. Or are you typing any question? All right. So let's move on to the next verse. What is the next verse? All right. Yes, the next verse is actually we study with Mundaka Upanishad. Exactly the same verse we have studied earlier in Mundaka Upanishad. Nayam ātmā pravacanena labhyo na medhayā na bahunā śrutena yamaivaishe vṛṇute tena labhyo tasya ātmā vivṛṇute tanūṃ svām. This self is not attained through discourse, not through intellect, not through extensive study. The self is attained by those who intensely seek it. To that person, the self reveals its essence. So, what can take us there and what can't? This is the idea of the next verse. So, now ayam ātmā labhyaḥ. So there, this higher self cannot be realized or recognized by these things, which pravacana means study. Merely studying books would not take us anywhere. In that case, the libraries would have been liberated. Libraries have so many books, right? Now, medhayā, not through IQ or smartness or intelligence, not through how intelligent I am, how I can grasp any idea quickly. That also does not take us there. In that case, ChatGPT would have been liberated. It is so intelligent, it can grasp everything. Now, bahunā, that is, even after attending so many lectures on Vedanta, it won't take you there. Because in that case, YouTube would have been liberated, right? If books, only mere books could have liberated us or made us realize person, library would have. If intelligence alone or logic would have alone, then ChatGPT would have been an illumined one. And if all the lectures would have made us realize our higher nature, YouTube would have, but it won't. So why? Because these practices are supportive, but nothing can substitute for the inner longing and effort required for self-realization. So why? Because reading book, understanding the logic behind, and listening to lectures or classes will give us paraksho indirect knowledge about their reality. But indirect knowledge is valuable up to some extent, but after that, indirect knowledge will not give us anything, right? We may read all about how to make pudding or how to make a cake, and we might have watched a lot of videos on how to make cake. We know perfectly well the ingredients, even taken the help of ChatGPT to customize this for my particular identity or particular need. all of it can be present unless I make the cake and eat it and enjoy it. There is no point of all these aparaksha knowledge, indirect knowledge. So that's why these things alone won't let us there. So the caveat here is, it does not mean that we should stop studying. We should not use our intellect to understand, or we should not go to lectures, but we should also know that they are also have limits. They alone cannot take us to the reality. But what can take? This verse says, Jamoivesha vṛṇute, one who earnestly seeks it, one who is the earnest seeker, they alone can, to them alone, the ātmā, the higher nature, is revealed. So this desire, this intensity of seeking is equivalent to seeker's commitment to spiritual growth. Okay, and this is called a technical name, the desire to realize our higher nature. Who knows it? The technical name. Too easy. Go ahead. Unmute. Can't you unmute? Yes, yes. Mumukshutva. Mumukshutva is usually defined as the desire to be liberated, So this makes it little difficult for us to understand. To liberate it from where? Liberate it from whom? But to mumukshutva also means to be free. Free from what? Free from the captivity of lower self, captivity of the limited self. Okay. And yearning is very important. Otherwise, why yearning is so important? Why the seeking is so important? Because Upanishad is speaking about an abstract something. We have not first realized Upanishad is speaking about it. So to pursue it, we need to be super motivated. Otherwise, our motivation will dry out after some time when we are not getting result. Okay. So unless we have a strong motivation to pursue, to be free, then none of the study and all of this will matter. And that is the case of the Pandits, the scholars on Vedanta. There are many scholars in Vedanta who can, give wonderful explanation of Vedanta. But do they practice in their own life? No, because they don't have the desire to be free. Okay, they have taken it as an intellectual exercise. They don't want to be. They don't want to realize their high nature. Okay, look at Sri Ramakrishna, at the life of Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna did not study Upanishad and all in the beginning of his spiritual life. Through yearning alone, he said, through yearning alone, this intense seeking, what is the truth? Is there a God or not? Or is just figments of human mind? This yearning made him, pray sincerely and meditate and all of it. Through yearning alone, he had his first spiritual experiences and series of experiences that kept him pushing forward and forward. So this yearning is very important to be free. Then how can we be? How can we cultivate this desire to be free, desire to know our higher self? What do you think? What can I do about it?
Holy company.
Yes, thank you. That is a wonderful thing. Holy company, that is people who are pursuing this path. Best is those who have realized the truth. Okay, so they can give you a clear idea. But even if such a person is not available, but at least someone who has been pursuing the truth and trying to live according to this truth. That such a company of such people gives us, the impetus, the motivation needed to pursue this abstract spiritual undertaking. Secondly, also, we have to use our analytical power, our observation, that what is holding us, right? What is holding us? What is making us small? What is making us bound? All will boil down to our limited identity, our ego self, okay? And this ego self, to maintain this ego, this small identity, how much time, energy, and planning we have to do to defend this small ego, and to experience or to endure the tyranny of the small ego. We can go on giving examples how the ego keeps us in its shackles, So in short, the ego is nothing, a very limited identity of ourselves, of who we are, which is conditioned by many things, by culture, by the society, by family values, all of it. All of this is a conditioned idea of who I am. And since it is conditioned, it is not a true picture of who I am. Okay, these are some concepts about myself. Okay, and these are the ego, the roles that we play. And as long as we identify ourselves with these self-concepts, self-images, so long we are in the tyranny of ego. We are in shackles. Okay. What is more? The ego distorts reality. Ego distorts reality in many ways. Okay. So if I have been conditioned to fear uncertainty, then anything uncertain, I feel afraid about. And this is distortion of reality. Anything new, I feel like it's like a death, facing something new. This is the result of the conditioned I, which felt uncertain, which felt I have to be in control of things. Anything beyond my control means my death. This is a shackle. This is a shackle. And we can see this, how it plays out in our life daily. We know an identity untenable. We cannot hold it. This identity cannot stand the logic, but still we try to maintain an identity. For example, if I have an identity, I'm a great teacher. I'm a great teacher of Upanishad. This identity, if it is too strong, what will happen? I will try to defend this identity all the time. Anytime I will see that any question or any situation that can make me feel weak, I am not a good teacher, I will try to avoid such a situation at any cost. Any cost. Okay, difficult questions about the class, I will try to avoid, postpone. Okay, why? Because I have this false identity that I am a good teacher. Good teacher. So it is actually making me more limited. Rather than, becoming free from identity, it is actually a bondage. And this is how, in every aspect of our life, our limited identity actually holds us and distorts the reality, distorts the truth. Okay. So, if we can, why I am saying all of this, these are the moments for us to notice how our limited small identity is holding us down. we are bound to float and fly. And these ones are keeping us down. Okay. So if we once start noticing all of these, there will be a desire to be free from all of this. And we'll find after some time, oh my God, what I was engaged with, what a petty thing I was trying to defend. No, there was no need to defend all of it. There was no need for me to project one identity of me. Okay. And all of it was keeping everything so claustrophobic, so suffocating. I can be free. So this is how actually the real mumukshutva can be cultivated. That looking at our present life and how down and limited we are, and at the same time, if we can live up to our higher self, how free we can be, how freely we can move. Okay. This is what will give us the impetus, the motivation to seek our higher nature, our higher nature. And that is the most important thing in the path of Vedanta. If we have been reading, we have been listening, and we have been, doing all the logic about Vedanta, how the world was created from one reality, what came after what, do we really continue to exist after death? Either is there a rebirth? What is karma and all of it? We'll be missing all the points. The point is be free. Swami Vivekananda said, in New York, Raja Yoga introduction, that religion is the manifestation of the perfection already within us. Each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to realize this divinity either through worship, through work, through meditation, or through philosophical inquiry, and be free. That is the goal of religion. So all of this, all these studies, all of these classes, if they don't arise, they don't raise in us the desire to live a higher life, to live up to our highest potential, then all of these are falling much short. These alone cannot take us to realize our higher nature, because our higher nature is present. It is not actually just unveiling. What we have to do is just clean up the space a bit, so that what is already there can express itself. So all our spiritual practices is actually negative thing. It is not doing something positive, but getting rid of the clutter, getting rid of the dirt that we have accumulated. Okay. So all the spiritual practices are like that. So spiritual practices cannot reveal our higher nature. Okay. This is a fundamental point of Vedanta. Nothing can reveal our higher nature. All of the things that we do, all the spiritual practices and all of it is just removing the barriers for the higher nature to reveal itself. Okay. So one who can seek this highest reality, to them alone, as it were, this higher nature reveals its pure essence. Have you got it? Until then, the nature of our true nature, our higher nature, will always remain elusive. Only through medhā, only through pravacana, only through shruti, it will remain elusive, until we earnestly seek to live up to our higher nature. This higher nature won't reveal its true essence to us. This is the verse what it's talking about. Okay. So mumukshutva real means is desire to be free. Free from what? Free from our present sorry state of affairs. Cross sorry state of affairs, we can live much freer life, much vast life, much expansive life. If we have that, then the medhā, the pravacana, the shruti, all of us will help us to realize our higher nature. This is the essence of the verse. Let me see anything. Yeah. Yes, it's like the hidden thing that was covered under a, the cloth. The cloth is revealed and it reveals itself. Okay. Yes, Betty, go ahead, ask. You are muted. What happened? We can't hear you. Your mic is not working. You have to unmute yourself, Unmute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes. Now we can hear.
I wanted to raise the issue of environments
Mm,
because certain environments offer maybe a lot more distractions
yeah,
than other environments. So by choosing a certain environment to place ourselves in
yeah,
can take us a long way, it
yeah.
seems to me.
Yes, yes, sure. Environment, kind of company, holy company. Preeti mentioned.
Well, even the culture, even the geographical area that we live in.
Sure, some of them are more, congenial because a lot of people are having doing the same thing, which motivates us, right? As runners get motivated by seeing a lot of runners around them, athletes get motivated by seeing other athletes. So really, when we see a good number of people and they are good people and we like those people and those people are following this path, that definitely helps us in our mood shukra or the motivation to realize our higher nature.
And that's the motivation for monks becoming monks as well, and nuns becoming nuns.
Yes, to get a company all the time, to put us into a company. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, Mrs. Carmen.
I'm glad that Betty spoke first because my thoughts were how what we have to do is be practical people and notice what creates tamas, rajas, and sattva in our lives.
Yeah.
And move away from the tamasic influences. And Betty touched on that also. And people who help bring out our sattvic energies, because it seems like rajasic and tamasic activities reinforce the ego. And
Yes.
if we understand that desires and anger and ill will bring us just more misery and suffering, that what are the things that uplift our hearts and create more sattva? And again, I'll say this wrong, but in Buddhism, holy company is called kalyanamitas. You spend time with your friends who are pursuing spiritual life. Kalyanamitas. I don't know what in Vedanta we have for that. But it's very important to pay attention that is this person or this environment, as Betty noted, causing rajasic or upset or negative energies in me, or is this dragging me down? And I've been eating so much bad food and listening to negative music or negative people that I'm just really, really down. To me, that would say, oh my gosh,
yeah,
this is a lot of tamas. I need to get out of this state.
yes.
So that's how I think is a way of being a practical Vedantin in daily life for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There are some influences which are really, really drag us down, surely. drag us down in the sense that these are not moral statements, like they will distract us into many things. Those things are not bad per se, but compared to what we are speaking, they are still low. For example, if you hang out with some people who are into betting, the prediction, in America now, prediction market is a big thing. Your phone is now betting instrument. You can play gamble with your phone with different apps. So you hang out with some people who are into betting. After 7 days, 12 days, you will also feel like, let me bet. Hang out with some people into cryptocurrency business. And after some time, you will feel, okay, let me also invest in the crypto. So similarly, people who, so these are not bad things I am saying, it's not judgment, but compared to what we are aspiring for, these will distract our time, energy, and attention into these things. Okay. Similarly, a group of people or a friend who is also aspiring for a higher life, trying to realize their higher life, they will give me motivation. And here is one thing more that also should be remembered. Even if we can't reach the goal of realizing our higher nature, but the path, the progress shows in our life, shows that the more and more we are convinced about we are seeking, and we know that our train is on right track now. The only thing is how fast it will go or when it will reach. Whether I will reach is not a question. I will reach, but I don't know how far I have to go. And the point is, even if we keep such a high goal for us to be free, then we will see that we have progressed a lot. We may not have realized our infinite vastness, but we have at least realized that we are not that small we were thinking. We can live in a much more, freer life, a better life, a life of a king we can live, but we are choosing to live in a much lower scale. This is the advantage of having a motivation and following through it. Arundhati, yes.
Yes, Maharaj, I was talking about the mumukshutvam. I was reminded of the verse from Mundaka again, the pariksha lokan karmachitam.
Ammano nirvedo mayat.
Yeah,
Yes.
which
Yes.
essentially
Yes.
means you have to, examine what you have experienced and where it has led you, and
Yes.
that'll create mumukshutvam.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yes, very nice. Mundaka Upanishad we studied, Brahmana, a wise one, Pariksha Lokan, have examining all the experiences I had. Krito things I have done, things I have not done, things yet to be done, things I have accomplished, I have not accomplished. If we analyze all of these, or look deeply through all of these, we'll find that there's nothing much more to be. The story will be same, almost the same movie. The characters will be this different, little more music here, music there, but basically the same plot everywhere. Okay, it's a mixture of good, bad, and all of it. So can we go beyond all of it and live in a much grand life? Okay, and so having this kind of experiences or this kind of analysis, Brahmana, the ones who are wise ones, nirvedo mayat, they try to go beyond all of these distractions. And bhikshacharyam charanti. That is one extreme thing that bhikshacharyam means nothing but trying to live in your higher life and distracted as totally cutting all of your distractions. Thank you, Arundhati. Ms. Purni, please.
Yeah, I was thinking about when you talked about, the mumukshutvam, trying to motivate yourself to the particular goal, and the flip side, almost like the neti approach, is like, if while you are trying to motivate yourself to the goal, you demotivate yourself from all the other, material goals.
Yeah,
Okay, so then those don't take on that much importance, and that's what's binding us, right?
yeah.
So by not giving the non-spiritual
So,
attention,
yeah,
goals attention, you automatically, what you're left with is the ultimate goal, and all these other things, that the dreams that you were chasing, fall by the wayside. Those are no longer important. So by de facto, only what is important remains.
not necessarily,
Not necessarily.
not necessarily, because there may be people who are not interested in anything.
Oh, like you mean just
Yeah,
apathetic?
yeah, apathetic. I'm not interested in anything. So they will not be naturally following to be free and living a higher life. So both the aspects should be needed.
So the
That's why,
combination.
yeah,
Okay.
Sri Ramakrishna said very interestingly. He said, mere vairagya, this passion for all of this, don't mean anything unless you have anurag, a positive something for a,
Okay.
positive
Thank you
something.
for
Yeah.
that.
Just because I don't have any material goals, don't make me automatically interested in a non-material, abstract, a higher goal. Okay, both should go hand in hand.
Okay.
So yeah, so both mumukshutva at the same time, janma mittu jara vyadhi, dukkho dosho anudarshanam. Bhagavad Gita says how to cultivate knowledge, that is how to pursue this path of knowledge. Janma mittu jara vyadhu, dukkho dosho anudarshanam. That is, these are the existential problems. There is suffering, there is ill health, there is ill physical health, there is problem of mental health. All of these are there. And this is a product of the world. Okay. So think about all of this. As Buddha was suddenly realized that some of the problems, existential problems, money cannot solve, power cannot solve. Nobody can escape these problems. To escape these problems, only way is to find a higher dimension of your thing. Okay. Buddha realized it. Similarly, verses says Bhagavad Gita and all that think about your experiences, that you are going through all of this again and again, but you have a choice to live to a higher life. And that is called this desire to live a higher and freer life, free from the tyranny of ego. Tyranny of ego is what is said in this verse. Subhash, thank you, Purni. But you thanks for bringing this up. We get a chance to clarify the thing, right?
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Actually, what happened is you automatically assume that person will be aspiring for the high, Yeah.
It's a bias.
Yeah, bias means just as in this group, everybody
Right.
are motivated for spirituality. So automatically you thought that if we give away distractions, so naturally we'll be going for that. Yeah. Thank you. Yes, Subhash.
So, Maharaj, in defense of study and all, we have yearning. That's why we're doing all this, right? Studying and attending lectures and so on. So, it's
Yeah.
not all that bad, except we should take it in the right perspective.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
alone is not enough.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because there is these are study and intellectual discussion, all of it has a charm of it. And many people can get lost into it. And the point is, you may feel that I am doing spiritual things because I am studying Upanishad, so difficult to understand, and I am also intellectually engaging in it. This is spirituality. And in our training center, we have meditation is must. Morning at least 1 hour, evening at least 1 hour. And at the very beginning, we are told by our principal Swamiji the senior Swamiji who is in charge, study is not a substitute for meditation. Because many people who cannot meditate, they think, okay, I cannot meditate, I will study rather. Okay, I am studying, I am reading the Upanishad. The thing is, Upanishad study has its place. You are reading whole throughout the day, 5 classes a day. But meditation is meditation. So one cannot substitute the other. Okay. So this is the context of the verse, that only pravacana and only thing cannot take one. Okay.
Maharaj, one more thing. How does the mechanism, how actually it happens that, you, let's say you are yearning, but, then self reveals itself to the person who is learning. And how does that really happen?
Well, that is the thing. So cannot be neatly put. It can be both. Well, it can be, for some, it can be gradually illumination happens. For some, it may just happen, sudden. Both are equally valid. One can have a sudden realization of their higher nature, then whole life they try to live up to that. The result of the experience, and they still have to practice and all. And for most of us, what happens is we have to take baby steps, whatever we can take. And as we take baby steps, we also see the results, right? If we don't see results, then we will lose faith in the practice. So as we take baby steps, we also see the change, transformation that happens in our life. Small changes, but make big differences. That motivates us to pursue the path. And the best is to live with such a person who is living such a life. Then only we can understand what it means to be free. What it means to be free. And what it means to live an expansive life. And if we can see such a person, that is the most convincing, right? Yeah. For example, look at Swami Vivekananda and his other friends. Many of them were very agnostic about God and all of it. But none of could deny the life, the quality of life Sri Ramakrishna was living. That kept them bringing to Sri Ramakrishna. Swami Vivekananda says that Sri Ramakrishna to me appears to be a crazy person, probably a monomaniac, monomaniac. At that time, they did not have definition for psychological disorder, DSM or DMS 5, 6. So he said he must be a monomaniac. But at the same time, he said, maybe he is a monomaniac, a crazy person, but extraordinarily pure. That I cannot deny. Extraordinarily pure. I have not seen such a pure person in my life. So that kept him bringing to Sri Ramakrishna. And in the course of time, Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Vivekananda went on to his spiritual pursuit, and even God with form, which he was iconoclastic. He was against God with form. But because he saw Sri Ramakrishna, that a person worshipping an image of a goddess, if that can make such a person, why I should not do? Why should I not go for it? This is how it happened. All right.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Yeah, we have, okay, Rick, you want to say something? Rick?
Yes?
You want to say something?
Yeah, I was just thinking while you were talking and using the word higher,
Yes.
higher, it occurs to me that actually the direction is more fundamental. It goes to less and less.
Hmm.
And then moksha might be, this is just my thought, that moksha then kind of bursts into that space where no thing is.
Hmm.
And then all these things begin to float in it. I think of a teacher who says, like that, it's like a flower that, there is a syrup, I can't think of the word right now, that travels in the plant, and then the flower blooms. But the flower doesn't bloom without that syrup, without that inner value. I think that the word higher sometimes leads us to a mood, and we think, oh, ooh, this. But actually, I think it's fundamental. It dives to less and less,
Right.
until no thing is there.
Yes.
And then you see the real value behind all the material world.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, the higher the word is can be contested. How can we say that is higher? It's a conventional sense. Higher does not mean to be high. Okay, to be high in that state. It is not higher in that state. Higher in the sense you may say it is more expansive self. Okay, it makes us more expansive. Okay, we are using the term transcendent self. Okay, our true nature. But to simplify it, lower I, higher I was using. But if you have objection to being high, okay, I can make it low. Okay, it is lower than the lowest. Okay.
But I have a question, Swamiji.
Yes.
Sort of a question. Who's the fellow who just asked the question?
Vic.
Hi, Vic. So, because did he say the word empty?
Yes.
Because it's interesting. I've been studying, Buddhism a little bit, and that word shunya,
Yes.
right, which means empty. So I was just curious about how Vic ended up at empty, because to me, there's like empty, and to contrast that with the Advaitin oneness, okay?
Yes.
I
Yes.
can understand oneness. I cannot understand emptiness, or I don't want to understand it.
Yes. Yes. So yes, very briefly, I am telling you, the shunya is wrongly translated as empty. It's a problem of translation.
Okay.
Shunya really means nothing can be said about it. Nothing can be said about it.
Like it's ineffable, like ineffable?
Yeah, ineffable, right? Non-conceptual. Okay. And here comes Advaita Vedanta. Advaita Vedanta says the same thing. That this is the highest nature is abhang manaso gocharam. Mind and our speech cannot reach there. Okay. But whatever we are talking about, all of these, it is subtle, it is vast, it is free, all of it is just to get wrap our mind over this abstract concept.
So they're saying the same thing, just expressing it with a different word, really. Different words.
Different words, different verbs, and the paradigms are different. The goal, the whole thing is appear to be different, but in the essentially both are speaking the same thing.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Thanks, Vic. Thank you.
Yes. All right. Then the next two verses are left of this. Only two verses are left for this chapter, and we shall see in our next class, or maybe two verses, and then we may start even a new chapter. Okay. Let's see in the next week. Next week. Okay. So remain safe. Winter storm. Winter storm is coming. Yeah. And have a nice weekend. See you next Friday.
Thank you. Have a great week.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Thank you, Swami.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Amazing.
Okay. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om peace, peace.